Welcome back to another episode of Teachers in Transition, the podcast and the YouTube channel. My name is Kitty Boitnott. I am the owner of Boitnott Coaching and the founder of Teachers in Transition. I'm a heart-centered career transition and job search coach. I'm also a certified stress management coach. And if you've listened to this podcast in the past, you know that I alternate topics each week. One week I talk about career transition strategies, and then on alternating weeks, I talk about stress management strategies. Now, this week, the topic is stress. And as I have shared with you in the past, I feel like I've said just about all I know to say on the topic of stress and stress management. That said, it doesn't stop me from looking for new resources and suggestions of ways to manage stress more proactively and effectively. And as a result of that search today, I found an article that was published by adoptaclassroom.org. Now, according to this article, the adoptaclassroom.org conducted a survey in March of 2022. And since it's just May, it's a recent survey. The statistics seem a bit high to me. Having said that, the people who would be responding to adoptaclassroom.org would probably express more of a need for resources and supplies than the average teacher, who no doubt needs additional resources and supplies because increasingly districts are not providing the budget that needs to be provided for the proper allocation of resources. So I wanted to share with you the 2022 State of Teaching statistics per the adoptaclassroom.org survey. And I'm referring to my screen here where I have the statistics pulled up. According to this particular survey, this is how teaching has changed during the 2021-22 school year based on the results of the survey that they conducted in March 2022. And again, their users would be the expected responders, right? So 81% answered that the overall workload has increased during the 2021-22 school year. And that statistic may be high, but I don't think that's a surprising result. And everyone would agree, I think, probably 100% would agree that to some extent, the teaching workload has changed in the last year, certainly for sure in the last 2 years. 80% suggested that they were spending more time addressing students' mental health. That's not a surprise either. 71% said they spent more of their own money on classroom materials. 69% said they were getting students back on track from learning loss. 58% reported an increase in classroom interruptions during instruction. 55% reported less planning time due to staff shortages and other factors. 45% reported that they had to change their curriculum. 35% had received a smaller budget for school supplies. 30% reported that the schools or district's priorities had changed. 25% said changes to assignments had occurred in their classroom, and 18% said they had less access to instructional tools and materials. So when you're working at a deficit of resources and time, not being given the time you need to plan properly for your classes, it would be no wonder that your stress level would start to go through the roof. And you add on the mental stability of the students that you're dealing with, whether it comes from the pandemic or other issues that may be going on at home, it creates a tremendous strain on teachers. So the question is, what in the world can you do about it? And the answer is, other than recognizing it, understanding that you're not alone dealing with it, perhaps going to the extent of finding support inside your building, finding other teachers who feel the same way you do, not for the purpose of a pity party. That's not going to help anybody in dealing with stress right now, but to find help and support for one another. And taking advantage of resources like adoptaclassroom.org and encouraging your family and friends to donate to resources like that. Now, on the other hand, there's the more political view that you need to be part of your local teachers association, which is lobbying your school board and your state legislators on your behalf for additional money, for budgets, for resources. Now, at the state level, the money is simply allocated with very broad instructions on how the money is to be used. Some of it is earmarked, but it's still very broad. And in a lot of cases, the local school board gets to make decisions about how particular dollars are allocated for things like school books, computers, paper, pencils, those kinds of things. When you are at the point of having to dig into your own pocket to buy incentives, additional pencils, more paper even, that's when you need support from other places. So find that support. Understand that there are other places out there where you can go to get help, and you don't necessarily have to spend your own hard-earned dollars to help supplement your classroom. And frankly, in my opinion, you shouldn't have to do that. I know I did it, and that was long before the pandemic ever hit. Back when I was as an elementary school librarian, I bought a lot of materials, supplies, pencils, bulletin board. I love going to the school store, as a matter of fact, to buy new bulletin board supplies. And I would often buy those out of my own pocket. So when you are feeling stressed and strained because of a lack of resources, try to find a community like the Adopt a Classroom. That's just one example, adoptaclassroom.org. But know that you are not alone in feeling the strain. And maybe perhaps just knowing that can help to ease some of your stress. Here we are in May, looking down the barrel of the end of the school year. And so I am hoping that you are looking forward to your summer, that you have plans for helping to recharge and rejuvenate yourself. And if you've decided that you're going to use some of your spring break to start looking for a new job, I hope you'll keep me in mind and consider making an appointment for a free discovery session so that we can talk about whether one of the programs that I provide would be useful to you in your search. And that's it for this week. Take care, stay well, stay safe, and I will see you again next week.